Obama gets publicly destroyed after announcing Americans want him for a third term. Obama has to be the most self-loving president that we have ever been burdened with. His obsession with the seat of power that is no longer his, is becoming a serious concern for many, and it doesn't look as though Obama will be stopping his bid for an impossible third term anytime soon. Even though it is literally something that is in no way allowed, Big O seems to think that if he undermines Trump just enough that the American people will beg him to come back to office. No. It will never happen, and just after Obama stated on a recent interview with CNN's David Axlerod that if he had run against Trump he would have rallied the American people and won hands down, the very same American people gave him a huge and very public ego washing. According to Freedom Daily, from the moment that Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States, Obama has been obsessed with bringing Trump down, even buying a house 3 miles from the White House to serve as a headquarters for his shadow government. He's tried on numerous occasions to take over as president, as he still craves the power and prestige that the office of the presidency fed his ego for the past 8 years. If there's one thing that's even more enormous than Barack Hussein Obama's love for Muslims, terrorists and thugs, it's his over-inflated ego. It was completely impossible for Obama to give a speech without mentioning himself at least 851 times, sarcasm, as this president made it his habit to overuse personal pronouns whenever given the opportunity. In addition to setting world records for his incredible ability to use the words I and me in a single speech, Obama was also the only president in U.S. history to own a selfie stick, as the Narcissist-in-Chief made it no secret how much he was genuinely in love with himself. While we'd all hoped that the self-loving traitor would drive his golf cart into the sunset never to be seen or heard from again, that's sadly not the case. Obama is now making his reemergence back into politics to feed his ego yet again, where he's been busy fundraising and has been zipping around the world breaking federal law to meet with foreign diplomats in order to sabotage Trump and take back the power he once held. So it should come as no surprise that Obama is now fantasizing about a third presidential term, where he's now making the ridiculous public claim that Americans want him to run again. In a recent interview with David Axlerod, he spoke about Trump's victory fantasy, cockily proclaiming that had he been the candidate to run against Trump, that he would have won a third term, hands down. CNN reported, I am confident in this vision because I'm confident that if I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it, Obama told his former senior advisor David Axelrod in an interview for the Axe Files podcast, produced by the University of Chicago Institute of Politics and CNN. I know that in conversations that I've had with people around the country, even some people who disagreed with me, they would say the vision, the direction that you point towards is the right one, Obama said in the interview, which aired Monday. But Obama's delusions of grandeur are even more ludicrous than his wife's fashion sense, as he'd soon learn. Given the former president's brazen claim, we here at Freedom Daily decided to ask ordinary Americans if they do in fact want Obama for a third term, and the responses were beyond hilarious. He's absolutely right. The third term should be 20 years to life in GITMO. I would rather gouge my eyes out with a Taco Bell spork covered in the contents of a Taco Bell restroom at a truck stop and proceed to myself with a cactus than see that socialist turd get a third term. He can get lost or kiss my garbage along with all involved for 9 years. I would rather have herpes, poison oak, crabs, smash my finger with a hammer, have lunch with the Antichrist, move into my parents' house, and kiss a liberal. I think he needs a life term. He is back to smoking crack. Those are not Americans that want him for a third term. They are terrorists, drug dealers, thugs, illegal aliens and liberal snowflakes. We all know what was going to happen the first 4 years. Then we had a fixed election for the next 4 years, a third term, hell no. Obama had a dream. To be the Saudi puppet. Your puppet master along with his minions lied to you. We the people want nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with you. Obama pulls another bull Americans want statement out of his A. He must have founded Vanity magazine. Hi 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 ha, gasp. Hi 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 ha, gasp. Hi 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 ha. No. Obama needs to stop smoking crack in his dressing room. Just threw up in my mouth. Obama is as delusional as the rest of the left. 8 years under the rule of a communist dictatorship is enough. The only jobs he created were for his comrades. It took 6 months and still Trump is pulling weeds planted by Obama. His health care plan is a disaster. There is nothing affordable about paying 5 times as much for less coverage than you had before. GITMO, waterboard, repeat, rejoice. Change we can believe in. Change our country needs. Obama is delusional and charismatic. His followers all exhibit a mental disorder known as liberalism with a side diagnosis of communism and socialism. No known cure at this time. Research is being done by tying liberals to a chair and forced to watch Fox 1 American News and Captain Kangaroo. He is actively trying to foment a revolution in this nation in order to get the New World Order United Nations involved. He truly needs to be put into some kind of confinement with no external communication of any kind allowed. Give it up, Obama. No one, except for the vast fan base of thugs, terrorists, illegals, and liberal snowflakes would ever conceive of such a notion of voting you in for another term. Oh, and this woman, your die-hard supporter who eats Fruit Loops cereal out of a bathtub. Who is he kidding, seriously? Obama was the absolute worst president this country has ever had. His voting base would have been the same as Hillary's if not way lower, which is bad as it is. The massive ego and self-boosting narcissism of the former president is only matched by his record for failure, both of which are ginormous. Judging by the comments on his interview, the American people generally would rather see him dressed as a clown juggling Democrats on the National Mall steps before they would ever want him back as an American leader. Wake up, Obama, you're dreaming again. All that hope for world domination must have finally fried what was left of his tiny little brain. Someone call a shrink quick, quick.